If I may just detain you, gentlemen, Sister Dora will be with us in a moment. I understand she has a little matter she wishes to bring up with us.
While we are waiting, may I say that this is the 10th anniversary of Sister Dora's coming to us. Perhaps, Mr. Chairman, it would be a suitable moment to reaffirm our appreciation.
Yes, of course. I quite agree.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Sister Dora, we all feel that this would be a...
Take a look at that. Not fit to drink, is it? You can see the impurities. We must have a filter installed. You agree?
Yes, sister.
Thank you. Now, gentlemen, the other matters I wish to bring up. I have found a carpenter who will fit large casters onto armchairs so that the helpless patients can be wheeled to the bathroom. And clothing. Now, we must increase the clothes bank. As you know, I frequently have to cut off the garments of injured patients, and they must be replaced. Now, I have here an estimate for a system of bells connecting my bedroom to the ward and an emergency bell to the front door. What else? Let me see. Ah, yes, lacquer. 10 gallons, please, gentlemen, so that we can seal all surfaces, and then they can be scrubbed with hot water regularly against infection. I think that is all. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Oh, a hen.
A hen, sister?
Eggs, you know.
Sister Dora, the new doctor, Dr. McLachlan.
Yes?
He positively encourages the patients in their low songs and coarse language. I was ready to sink through the floor.
Wouldn't they have been surprised if you had? What a pity you didn't.
How can you laugh about it?
My dear, if I couldn't laugh at the things that happen here, I really don't know how I should carry on. It's part of a nurse's training to be made to blush a little and take no harm. Good afternoon, Mr. Welch. You'll excuse us, nurse.
Good afternoon, sister. This is sorry news I've been hearing from Dr. McLachlan about the smallpox outbreak. As bad already, he tells me, as 6 years ago.
Yes, I'm afraid it is. But now at least we've got the fever hospital to help contain it.
Oh, you haven't seen it, sister. It's nothing but an annex to the workhouse. The only nurses are able-bodied paupers. An ambulance in the street is the signal for all doors to be slammed and locked. The people would rather die in their own homes.
It's as bad as that?
Certainly. And who would we find willing to nurse there?
I would.
No, sister. Impossible. Of course you couldn't. The committee would never agree to it. The risk is far too great. Doctor, you will support me over this. We could never give her permission.
I don't think permission's a word that Sister Dora is very familiar with.
Sister, you mustn't attempt it. How should we manage here without you?
If you'll excuse me, I'll just go and tell the student nurses how to divide their duties while I'm away. And then, Dr. McLachlan, if you'll very kindly drive me over to the fever hospital before it is dark. Thank you.
The committee will be appalled. Do you mean to drive her over there?
Unless you think she should walk.
Is this it?
This is it.
Take me back. Oh, please take me back. I know I said I'd come here, but I didn't know it would be like this.
You really don't want to stay?
No, I can't bear it.
Well, that's all right. We'll go away again. But I suppose now that we're here, you'll want to look around and make a report on it. Oh, very well. I don't object.
Fields are crawling alive with creatures.
Bugs are certainly livelier than the people.
Babies are wrapped in old newspapers and bundles of rags.
So you've plenty to report on. And the sooner I can get you away, the sooner you can get it done.
Get me away? What are you talking about, Doctor? Of course I'm not leaving. There's everything to be done, and at once. I'll make out a list of things I shall need from the town hall, if you'll be good enough to deliver it for me. Disinfectant urgently, flea powder, 20 bars of soap, scrubbing brushes. 6 will do. And a good supply of flannel. The children must have nightgowns. And my dear Rachel, I never told you how a week after that alarming first sight of the place, I read the text for the day. And do you know what it was? I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably to her. So I made myself comfortable. I have had my hands full, for I couldn't get a decent woman to come. Only 2 critters from the workhouse. Get out! Get out! We had a thorough spring clean and whitewashed the building. The Board of Guardians were very startled when I put in for new floorboards, but that has been done now. The danger of total disaster is over, but I shall still be a prisoner here until the late summer. Still, I feel thankful that I came. No one is afraid of being brought here now. And I shall feel even more thankful when the last patient is gone and I can lock the door behind me. Nearly ready. Just these last few things to burn.
What? Oh, that sensational railway fiction that Mr. Wells so disapprovingly kept you supplied with.
Well, you know what an infection I caught from them. We can't run the risk of them spreading smallpox as well.
Oh, right. Let me take them. Sister had a strange addiction for lurid fiction. Though not in other ways, Sir Lax, she gorged herself on yellowbacks.
Shameful. What's more, she'll be driving home with you wearing no gloves. When I went to put them on, I found my hands were a size larger. I can't wear 6s any longer. It's a sad knock to my vanity. Three times dead, or the secret of the heath. Oh. Oh, the trail of the serpent. Oh. 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 Oh, I did so love those stories.
Christ! I'm catched in it, sir! There's mountain metal everywhere!
Get away at once, Sister Dora, at the Cottage Hospital. Collect as many blankets as you can find. Get some men to help you and oil to put on the burns. Run like fury to the railway station. We need every cab there is to get them to the hospital. Pull yourself together, man! Run!
Sister! It's the arm work, sister. Worst accident there's ever been.
Nurse!
I've never seen such a sight.
Come and sit down. I'll give you some brandy. Nurse, the patients in Barnet Ward must all be sent home. Except little Annie, she's too ill to move. Have her cot wheeled into my bedroom. There's Been a bad accident at the ironworks. We just have time to scrub and disinfect the wards before the men get here.
What's she doing, Sister Dora? What on earth
I've
is she
known her to do
doing?
this, mouth to mouth, when the breathing fails.
Extraordinary.
Don't waste your time on me, sister. The mothers want you worse. I'll be thankful to die.
What is this man's name?
Jack Phillips.
You're a good, brave man, Jack. And there's a safe harbor ahead of you. You can be sure of that. We can't save him. Stay with him, won't you? He must know that we care. You had much better get home. Nurse, you can take this man into the water. You're very gentle. Mind the door. Be careful of the patients. He's down here. Oh, we've nearly made it. Good. You're nearly as strong as me.
Sister, there simply won't do, you know. It's been 10 days since the disaster, and you've scarcely left the men for a moment.
We won't have a visitation like this for many a long day, please God. I've always found I can stay up 6 nights if I go to bed on the 7th, so it's all right to arrange for an overdraft when the occasion arises. Besides, I did get some sleep last night.
Now, how long?
Long enough to dream I was skating at Astric, cutting across the image of a star that gleamed upon the ice, like Wordsworth.
Good night, sister.
Another cornucopia. Mr. Jones, you must have been scouring every chicken farm and orchard for miles around to bring eggs and fruit like this every day. But thank you.
They're my men, sister, as well as yours. This wine, by the way, this bottle is your private bottle.
For me?
You and no one else.
But, Mr. Jones, what about
Why don't you
your
sit down like an ordinary human and have some now? I don't know how you've done it these past 2 weeks, but if you're not near to exhaustion, you deserve to be.
Well, yes, I am tired now. The worst is over. But your visits have been like a reviving breath of air each time you came. For all of us, what a difference it made.
As profusion said to the atom. Oh!
You don't know how much.
We know the cause of the explosion. The fireman has admitted that he ordered the furnace to be overfilled so that it wouldn't need topping up at the end of his shift. Something he's been in the habit of doing. Great wonder there's been no accident before.
Poor man. Oh, poor man. To have to live with that thought on his mind. Oh, dear, the burden of past mistakes can make life so difficult to cope with. I feel so sorry for him. Mr. Jones, you haven't poured yourself any wine.
Oh, that's, your wine, sister.
Well, if it's my wine, I have the right to share it with a good friend.
My, workmen have been making a device to my design. Good friendship.
Good friendship? What device?
A set of overhead pulleys to make the work of lifting the patients easier, the helpless ones. You may scorn the notion.
Scorn it? But it sounds a wonderful idea.
Well, you better not say that until you've seen it.
Well.
Right. Off you go. Well, sister, what do you think? Will it do?
I think it's more ingenious than anything since the Clifton Suspension Bridge. What shall we call it? The Kenyon Jones Skylark, I think.
I never saw such a woman in my life before. She has the vitality of 3 ordinary people.
Right. And she's a glorious nature. Well, maybe there's a wee bit too much of a wayward impulsiveness. Maybe if she'd married a man that knew how to rule her, she would have shown subdued.
But just think, McLaughlin, of how much that prodigality of devotion has meant to the town.
Oh, I don't deny it. You know, as long as she doesn't get swept off in her own current without thinking twice about it.
Well, you couldn't be greater opposites. She all dash and imagination, you steady, firm, unemotional. That's what makes you such a fine team, my dear fellow.
If she ever thought of leaving, yeah, I'd go and lie down under the next train. What about the new isolation wing she's asked for?
I've written to 10 architectural firms for tenders. Some are already in. We understand the urgency.
Cross-infections would we fear most. However much the wards are scrubbed and scarified.
Yes, I understand that. And as Sister Dora urged on us, the shock to children of having to see mutilated cases and death is wrong and terrible. We're all very well aware now of how unequipped we are to deal with any major disaster.
I long to make a move for you.
Shall we let her?
Go on, sister. I don't mind playing the pair of you if it makes you happy. Wouldn't you know it? Those sharp eyes of hers don't miss nothing.
Bless you.
You haven't told me when you're next coming. Now, I like to know when to expect you so that I can get my work finished and we have time to talk. I look forward to it all day.
Well, you can be sure I shall be here every evening, except when the furnaces are working full blast. Can you see the works from upstairs? Should be able to.
Yes, I think I can.
Well, if you can see the fires, you'll know we're working late. That will be our flamerometer.
I shall look towards it first thing in the morning and again in the evening. He warmeth himself and says, aha, I have seen the fire. But it's herself in this case. Good night, Mr. Jones.
Good night, my dear. How great a matter a little fire kindleth. How will that do?
Rather well, I think. I am anxious to know if you caught my cold by coming out last night. You did look so ill. And then I was quite shocked to see you and quite grieved that you should venture out, only to keep your promise. After you left, I went into the ward and found one patient in great distress. I immediately sent for the doctor and sat up with him. The doctor never came, and before 3 o'clock the man died. But so suddenly. He went into eternity without knowing it, without a thought. It did distress me so. I feel as if I should have done more for him. It has been a heavy day. I have not had so dark a time since the smallpox epidemic. I have just given the patients their tea and the usual question, Sister, is the visitor coming tonight? I was obliged to say, no. The flame looks as if you are not coming. I do wish you had been. I think it would have cheered me. But I know you will be here when you can. I'm sorry, nurse. The floors must be scrubbed and scrubbed again. I was sure the evening would bring you. I so needed your company. Oh, my dear, the worst has happened.
Why? What's wrong?
4 cases of erysipelas. The hospital will have to be closed. I won't take you into the ward. I woke this morning hoping the flamerometer would tell me you might be coming, and it did. Are you feeling well again? Quite well.
Well, don't I look it?
You look splendid.
You really mean the hospital has to be closed?
The wards must be allowed to empty. No more admissions. I know we had taken every precaution. But the size of the blast furnace disaster simply broke through our defenses.
Is it uncontrollable, the infection?
The bacteria can be carried in the noses and throats of nurses, and so do susceptible patients. The outpatients department, of course, will remain open, and the committee are trying to rent somewhere temporarily until the new hospital can be built.
Have they anything in mind?
The only possibility belongs to the railway company. And anything less suitable, you couldn't imagine. Besides, there will be no view of the ironworks. I won't know when to expect you.
But with the hospital closed, you'll have more time to yourself. For a while, at least. Time to come out to Dudley. My mother and sisters are longing to welcome you. Time to walk together in Sutton Park. I found these violets there today. So here's an end to your wintry thoughts.
Oh, they're out so soon. And you thought to bring them. Oh, the smell of violets. It makes me feel like a prisoner out on parole. Oh, thank you.
With thanks for everything you are.
Oh, not everything I am deserves it. I wish I could think so well of myself. Goodness gracious. It's a good thing I've left the sisterhood. If I hadn't, and the Reverend Father had walked in just now, I should have had to bid farewell to Walsall tomorrow. I must try not to let you make me forget that I am a working woman. 2 days ago, I had a message to visit a patient out of town. But after outpatients, I forgot. Yesterday, I remembered. And I walked across the fields feeling very dejected. And the woman came running towards me and she said, "Too late, Sister Dora? Too late?" I felt such a failure. I felt like retiring on the spot from public life. Oh. Oh, my dear. No walks in Sutton Park. No setting tongues to wag. Nothing that can harm the work here. What you mean to me is so precious. But it must be our secret.
I can't have you thinking of me as your evil genius.
A blessed evil genius, if you are. Do you know, I went to sleep last night hoping to dream of where I'd left some keys, and I dreamt I lost my leg.
Why are you thinking of that now?
I don't really know. It was such a relief to wake up and find it wasn't true.
Get out, you rat! Dirty rat! Now get out of here! Oh, my goodness! Up the stairs! Shoo, shoo, shoo! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out!
What a welcome! Broom in hand.
I'm on a rat hunt. Where did it go?
Out through the door as I came in. Into the filthy water under the railway bridge, I expect. What a place for a hospital.
Yes. Well, it's the best they can manage in the time. And they promise me it only has to be endured for a few months. I comfort myself with that. It belongs to the railway. It almost is the railway, as you can hear. When the trains go by, they shake the whole building, open a window, and you disappear in a puff of smoke. I've asked the engine drivers not to let off steam when they go by. You've no idea how quiet they are now.
Was that what you call quiet?
At least they don't shriek anymore. You didn't know I've already seen you today.
Seen me? Where?
This morning, in the train, as you came from Dudley. If you'd been looking out, you could have seen me, too, standing at the window. We could almost have shaken hands. It's even better than the flamerometer. I did see you pass yesterday. I awoke late and thought I might miss you, but after a hasty toilette, continued to be in the ward window as the train went by. I never saw you this morning, I am writing this now from my bed, so please excuse. I have felt so strong and well this last fortnight, I could jump to the moon. So was prodigal of my strength. And when some bad accidents came in on Monday, I thought I could run all night as well as day, and went at that rate until Thursday. When not feeling well, I came to rest for a while, and here I am. But the doctor's given me leave to go down tomorrow, so I shall be able to see you at the usual time. You did not see my face at the window this morning, but I thought of you all the same. Hoping to see you soon. It was shortly after I joined the sisterhood. They sent me to look after a very wealthy, very unmanageable old lady. At first, she tried to frighten me. She threatened me with a knife. And then she took a fancy to me and gave me rings and brooches, which I duly returned to her relatives the next morning. An uncommonly unpleasant time I had of it. What with a mad old woman who was fond of me, and the relatives who were jealous of me, and the footman who took me for a servant and would make love to me.
I should think so, indeed.
Oh, you are kind to listen to such ancient history.
I've told you quite as much of my own.
I love to hear it.
I've, brought you a birthday present, by the way.
But it's not my birthday for me.
Never mind.
What is it? A locket. Oh, my dear, thank you. Birthday or no birthday.
Which you don't have to return to my relatives in the morning.
But you're not there.
No, I'm not there.
But you must be. Isn't it tomorrow you're having the group photograph taken at the works?
Tomorrow, yes.
Then be sure to get down well out of the multitude so you can be neatly cut out to fit.
I'm, giving it to you now because I won't be here on your birthday.
Not?
No. I'm off on business to South Africa for 3 months.
3 months. It will seem a very leafless winter.
With all the details of the building program to occupy you, you will find it better to have me out of the way. How much easier things will be without my distracting influence. You're having to be two people, one hidden from the other. That isn't good.
Do I look distracted?
You look beautiful, but tired.
Not so tired that I can't be made to feel completely new in your company. Without it, how shall I manage? Some friends have invited me to Paris. Shall I accept? I've had such a longing this year to see the world, as though it might vanish before I had the chance to see what is there. I've known only such a tiny corner of it. But that tiny corner and the people in it, I have loved very much.
We can have no date yet, understand, for the completion of the new hospital.
Not a firm one. As you know, there have been unexpected delays.
A few months it was to be.
Well, by the autumn of next year, we
And
fully
that's a
hope...
long time to keep fingers crossed. A long time for Sister Dora to struggle with the difficulties. Oh, it's impossible for anyone not working there continuously to know the strain in her. She's overworked and very tired, with all the marks of fatigue, exposure, and anxiety upon her.
Why, sister, what's the matter? Are you all right?
Yes, Mrs. Harrison. I'm just a little clumsy-fisted today, that's all. Fancy making such a mountain out of a mattress. What nonsense. It's all right, merely that.
I'll give you a hand.
You will do no such thing. Oh, dearest Fanny, in exceeding joy for a little while. We do not know how long. We only know we must work while it is day. You know very well what's wrong, don't you? There's not much doubt, is there? And you might as well admit it.
Oh, Mrs. Harrison. Do you know where Sister Dora is? She seems to have been keeping out of my way these past few days.
She's gone to Birmingham, Doctor.
Oh, did she tell you why?
She said that her brother was giving a lecture there at the Midland Institute and she wanted to hear it. About modern books.
Well, I suppose that might be called a day's holiday. And what she needs is a month or more of no cares at all and a change of air. A long rest. If ever we can persuade her to take it.
Did you enjoy your brother's lecture, sister?
Very much.
I expect he was very glad to see you again.
What, Dora? Still cutting off little Tommy's fingers and little Jemmy's toes?
Gladness doesn't come very easily to him, Mrs. Harrison. I hope he was.
I'll bring you up a nice cup of tea. You must be very tired, sister.
I advise an immediate and radical operation, sister.
I must have a little time to consider, Mr. Crompton. No. It must run its natural course. No one need know. Not for some time, at least. That's progressing well. Good.
Where have you been today, sister?
Where have I been? Well, I've been looking over the new outpatients department. First part of the new building to be nearly ready. And how grand we shall be. It has a waiting room, a surgeon's room, and separate dressing cubicles. We shan't know ourselves.
You'll be happy then, won't you, sister?
Yes, I'll be happy then. And you'll be wearing your boots.
Thanks to you, sister.
Excuse me, sister. I saw Mr. Jones in the town. He's looking so brown and well, though he's been back from Africa for a month or more.
Man, it seemed, that ever wore grey hair. My dear Mr. Jones, fancy my astonishment this morning to see a letter in the box in the well-known handwriting, the first this year. Do you not think you call too largely on my faith and friendship when you tell me not to think that you have entirely forgotten me? Why I should have to be an angel to go on hoping against hope. I am only a frail, weak woman and cannot live on trust. When a quarter of a year has gone, and your friend has neither written nor called to see you, when he actually sat by your side and never spoke to you? What is friendship, I ask you, to live on? Why, nothing. Oh, I did expect you would have spoken to me at the concert night. You know how you stand with me. And I'm afraid, so loving a creature as I am, that nothing can alter my feelings towards you. You will always find a loving welcome. Come when you will.
So you see, when the break had been made, it seemed so much wiser not to disturb each other again. I felt I couldn't take you back into the half-world of not being seen too often together, of all the circumspection and muting of strings. But once I saw you, I knew it was impossible to do without our friendship. It was a misbegotten attempt to be sensible. It's a good thing you suffer fools gladly and never yet despaired of a human soul.
Certainly not yours. Only sometimes my own. It was strange, wasn't it? Your writing to me on Monday. Because on that very morning, I'd taken out paper to write to you, to ask if you had forgotten me. And then I thought you would think I was foolish. So I put it by. And getting your letter the next morning meant all the more for that. Oh, it suddenly seems as though you've never been away. Except that I'm longing to hear what you've been doing from the moment of boarding the boat.
Oh, well, there will be plenty of time for that in evenings to come, thank goodness. Give me your news first.
I'm being sent away on holiday. So much for time's plenty. You come back, I go away. We might almost be playing hide and seek.
This time, after the holiday, there won't have to be any seeking. No more losing each other.
Don't be hurt at my going.
Well, of course not.
Don't ever be. All these to be burnt, Mrs. Harrison.
Why, sister, anyone would think you were never coming back.
I can never be sure. It's always as well to be prepared, even on holiday. Thank you, Mrs. Harrison.
A holiday, she called it. Walking the wards of Paris hospitals, helping with cases at the surgical home in London. I'm busy with some wonderful cases, she says. With the pleasure of watching Professor Lister do some wonderful operations, she says. Well, wonderful maybe, but it's no wonder she's in such a bad way.
When do you intend opening the new hospital?
4th of November.
And that's just about the date Sister Dora will be buried.
Oh, you're having a joke with me. I had a most cheerful letter from her only a week ago.
No, I'm not joking. I thought it best to tell you at once.
Can't believe it. Why are you only saying this to me now? Why have we had no idea that...
If we had guessed, do you think we would have let her live these last few months so vitally? So happily, even? She knew we wouldn't.
You're sending her home to Yorkshire?
No, she wants to come back here to Walsall. To die amongst my own people, she said.
You will be there at the opening of the hospital, won't you?
Yes, my love. I will be there.
I asked if I could be carried just to the entrance, but I am not to have my way.
for once.
I was sorry you had a useless walk last night. I pictured you walking through the rain. I had to see you today. Once more. But oh, Ken, my dear, you mustn't come again. It agitates me too much. And it only upsets you to see me in this state. Oh, Kenyon, you mustn't fret for me or grieve. I'm quite happy. I've so longed to go home. Mr. Jones is going to be my representative at the opening of the new hospital. But there you didn't think I'd live to see. I've done the doctors again.
We all know that you're the exception to every rule, sister.
I think I may have upset Mr. Willett, the nonconformist minister. I told him when he came he was just in time. I'd had a narrow escape. Because the Roman Catholic priest had just been. And he was fascinated. I don't think Mr. Willett has much sense of humor. Poor man. Oh, that's a lovely sound to take into my sleep. What did you say, sister? I have lived alone. Let me die alone. Let me die alone.
The music was composed by Wilfred Josephs.